Coming off of Super Bowl Sunday, we are your hosts for this fun-filled, action-packed, educational, silly, rhetorical, historical ride alongside Brian Fisher, Mike Skinner. I am Keith Porter, alias Porterhouse Fishbone and Skinbone. What's up, fellas?
Hey man. Happy Monday. I think it's Monday still. Monday.
You know what, Skinner? I'm not quite sure, but I think the Super Bowl was yesterday, so that would make it Monday, right?
Yep. Well, I was checking to see if it was midnight yet. You know, somebody's kind of slow this evening.
Oh, you got jokes.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, go ahead and get it in. I was a little bit behind. Okay, everybody. There we go. Passive aggressive. What's up, Fish?
Hey, man. Great time yesterday watching the game. Great game, and we'll talk more about that. A great weekend prior. Great quality time with Allie. I'm going to give a shout-out to Luca's in Canton. So if you are from the Northeast Ohio area, it is a upscale, beautiful Italian restaurant right downtown.
Okay.
We went there on Friday. Make reservations right online very easily. We had just a delicious Italian dinner, homemade pasta, the whole works.
Oh, man, don't say that.
So go check that place out. If you like Italian food in this area, shout out to them. We had a great time and great weekend together. So
all right,
I'm in a good mood. Glad to be here with you guys, too. Yeah.
Good to be with you guys for sure. And to the ladies, on behalf of all of us here at Came From GenX, we want to say happy Valentine's Day to you.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate it. I may be single at the moment, but I am still a hopeless romantic. So happy Valentine's Day, ladies. And with that being said, let's get this show cracking. Tell them where they can find us, Fish.
All right. You might be listening to us on WMVU.org, Global Internet Radio, Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Just pull up their site, play live, and check us out there, and also their other fine content, other shows, music, and a lot of good stuff on WMVU.org. Play us whenever you want to on demand. It can be found on many podcast platforms. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Verbal, a lot of stuff out there. You can also find us on our Facebook page and stream us right from there. You can subscribe right on our Facebook page at ItCameFromGenX. Find us on your favorite platform, give us a subscribe, and as we post new episodes, they will flow to you like a Cupid's arrow, free of charge. Check us out there. Give us a like and subscribe if you like our stuff. We appreciate that. Links to all our social media. YouTube, we have videos of the episodes every single week as well. If you prefer some reason to listen to us beyond Keith's mom, I don't know, and sister perhaps, watch us there. YouTube channel is at Came From GenX. We're on the Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, TalkTick, I think, as well. A lot of different stuff out there. You find links to all our stuff on two main areas. Our Linktree account, just Google Linktree. It Came From GenX, and our page will come up there. Simply links to our social media. And our website, It Came From GenX, one word, .wordpress, also one word, .com. All links to all episodes are there. Links to our videos, promos, bios. Ways to help the show if you want to become a Patreon and give us a couple of bucks. Feel free to do that if you wish. All there on our website. So if you go to one main area, check the website out. We appreciate your support. I want to say, too, listeners in Germany have picked up a little bit. But again, our goal, as we said on prior episodes, is someday to become as popular as David Hasselhoff in Germany. There's a long way to go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Long way to go. We're going to keep working up to it. We have high aspirations.
Yes.
But our listens have picked up over the past few days here. So some of you out there might be listening to us for your first time, your couple times in. So we hope you enjoy the show.
To apologize.
Yeah, we'll apologize in advance.
In advance, yes.
Especially for Skinner. So it's, just, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right.
But hang
Also,
with us.
I'm the
we
one in
hope.
the background, remember?
That's right. Don't forget, you can also find us on ratemycolonic.com So look for us on that too. So, all right.
That's right. Get in where you fit in, it says.
Or in a massage parlor
That's
near you.
Get in where you fit in. I like that.
That's right.
All right. World news. Take it away, Skinner.
All right. Well, our first one is right here in our own backyard. And pre-production, Keith has not heard this story yet, so I'm interested in what his take's going to be.
Oh, boy.
The Mayor Craig Shubert. Ever heard of him?
No.
He's the mayor of Hudson.
A lot more people heard of him lately.
Gee. Okay.
He has made national and world headlines for the comment that a shanty, you familiar with a shanty is?
I know that word, but I can't recall what it is.
Okay. That's a little shack that you put out on the lake.
Okay, yes, I'm familiar with
stay in to stay warm when you're ice fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Shanties brings in prostitution. In a nutshell, is what he said. What happened was the fishermen in Hudson asked for permission to put shanties out on the local lake in the little city of Hudson. And the mayor right there at City Hall during a public meeting said no, because if you ask for a shanty this year, the next year someone's going to ask to purchase or the rights to put a shanty on the lake, and that leads to prostitution. That is a direct quote from Mr. Craig Shubert.
Oh, okay, hold on a minute before you go on. I know there's a lot of money in Hudson. Well, are you telling me you got to have a boat to be a hoe?
You
can't be a hoe in Hudson unless you got a boat. You can make it out to the shanty
to be a hoe.
Well, you got to get out to the shanty. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what
we just walk out there on the ice,
or walk out there on the ice. So
to finish, what's the correlation? Go ahead.
Mr. Shubert put in his resignation today, stating that mayor quits after being mocked for saying ice shanties. Dude, it's been an internet craze of all the jokes and memes about shanties and hoes putting no vacancy signs out in front of a freaking shack and all kinds of stuff. But he said in a quote, "My attempt to inject a bit of dry humor to make a point about this in the midst of a cold, snowy February in Ohio was grossly misunderstood."
Yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
So, Fish, let me go ahead and hear your take, and let's let Porter think about this one for a second.
Oh, you already heard mine.
Well, my company's corporate headquarters has moved to Hudson recently, and so it was definitely a hot topic around the office for a couple of days there. He says he was joking. He was not joking. He was trying to.
No,
I don't know what his thought process was. He clearly did not want, for whatever reason, he did not want this bill to pass for some reason to allow shanties out on the lake, which is simply a means to keep guys out there fishing warm while they're ice fishing. So, I mean, to me, if you have something that's going to bring in people to your city and you go out there and ice fish, I mean, you're bringing a couple bucks into your town or whatever. Hudson doesn't necessarily need that, maybe. I don't know, because you're right. It is a higher income area, to say the least. So, here in Northeast Ohio. So, anyway, I don't know. It was a ridiculous comment. I think he was trying to save face, and he was certainly not expecting this thing to go kind of viral in this area. And it's going to be a running joke for quite a while. Guarantee 100%. There's going to be shirts. There's going to be stickers. There's going to be all kinds of things for quite a while. It's going to be definitely a running joke for some time here. So, I mean, it's too bad he felt he had to resign from it. He could have gotten through it, I'm sure, if he would have made a joke and kind of, save face a little bit there. But yeah, just definitely very amusing and, quite the topic around this area at the time. So, Keith, you haven't heard this before. So what do you think about prostitutes in shanties?
When Skinner said he was waiting to see what my initial reaction would be, this is the last thing I was thinking. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm with Fisher. He wasn't joking, but his thought process, whatever it was, it is a mystery.
It is strange.
For some reason, he didn't want this, it seems like. And I'm just totally speculating. No. I don't know Jack. But it seems like he didn't want this. and had to come up with something ridiculous on the spur of the moment as to why, which obviously he didn't think through.
So here's what he says. Maybe does someone come back next year and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? Shubert said. And then he says, and if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem, prostitution. Now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. That's his exact quote.
I don't know what this guy knows about prostitution, but somebody should let him know there's a lot easier ways to go about it than going out on the ice. If he thinks shanties is going to bring in the prostitution problem, I got some bad news for that dude, man.
Right. Well, in his resignation letter, we'll wrap up the stories. He said he felt he had completed his work as mayor and thought it was time to step down.
I would agree with that statement.
I think after what he said over the last week, it is time for him to.
I would agree with that statement. That statement makes sense right there. Okay. Next story.
So yeah, check out all the memes, especially if you're from Northeast Ohio on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be looking them up.
They are everywhere.
His poor family.
My next story is: did you have your guacamole yesterday, or did you eat your
check? Oh, that'd
chips
be
and salsa and all that good stuff that you normally do for Super Bowl? Or
I did actually. I had some guacamole. Yeah,
I don't. Cinco de Mayo coming up here in a short time, and well, U.S. has suspended avocado imports from Mexico.
That'll teach them.
That'll teach them is right. What has happened is that the inspectors that they have down in, now forgive me because I cannot pronounce this area in Mexico. It's Europan Miquiacuan, I think is what it's pronounced. One of the inspectors from the U.S. that does drops inspections on avocados to make sure that they are quality enough to come across the border received a death threat from the cartel down there.
Wow.
On his work phone. It wasn't even on a private phone. It was on a work phone. So U.S. Agriculture said, okay, we're done. We are suspending all imports from Mexico for avocados. So, you know, there's a joke in there somewhere with the guacamole and all that. But I mean, what is today's world when agriculture, now we're hearing death threats in agriculture. Normally we see it in areas of politicians, you know, governments, people like up in Canada. They've finally gotten that bridge cleared of all the truckers that were standing tall with what they were doing there between the Canadian and American border. But agriculture, there is a death threat on a U.S. person that's just looking at avocados to be sure that they're safe to come across. What are they hiding? Drugs inside the avocado?
Who knows?
Avocado pits or whatever? I just didn't understand where this came from. Is that a true sign of where this world is coming to?
Anything's possible as far as what their issue is with it. When you were first reading the story, my comment was going to be, I really don't have anything fair to say because I don't like avocados or guacamole, so I'm not a fair person to comment because I know other people do. But then when you mentioned the whole cartel thing, that's a whole different story. And I've always felt this. Gangs were scary, but I felt like the police could always get the upper hand, SWAT teams or whatnot. The mob was scary, but I think the FBI has grown big enough to keep them in line. But nothing is scarier to me than cartels. And I feel like I've said this for years now, that if they don't get cartels under check, they are going to be a force to reckon with. Not like gangs or the mob or white supremacist groups, extremist groups like that, but cartels are starting to own countries. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of resources. And you hit it on the head when you got all shocked to say they're in agriculture. That is like a major, we have a secretary of agriculture. You know what I'm saying? That's how big of a thing that is. I don't know what to say about that, but I know this world had better do something about these cartels, man. I mean, like military groups need to just wipe these people out because they have entire nations on their payroll. You go to third world country that has no money, and you just start paying everybody to be a part of your listening program, your killing program, your information program. I mean, they're going to take it. Poverty breeds criminal activity. So I don't know, man, what the deal is, but that's a pretty big deal to me. Fish?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add beyond that. I mean, you're right. It's pretty frightening prospect, and it's just like you say, it doesn't have to be drugs. Just anything that, if it's a good that people want, it's in demand. Certainly, avocados are very much in demand up here. Then it's a shame that leveraging against it. So I don't know. So yeah, I'm with you. It's something easy. I mean, it's no easy task. It's something that's going to be around probably for quite a while. It's really it's really a shame. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, those the cartels in this particular area, they collect money for protection money is what they're calling it. And when they found out the U.S. was involved and it was in their check snooping around, that's when this particular group decided to try to chase the Americans out of the way. And it's just sad.
I've heard it all.
Of affairs. What's going
on?
It
really
on
is,
right
man.
Now.
Really is. Keep an eye on that story. Wow. Go ahead, Fish. Did you have some fish? Oh, okay.
Nope. That was it. Nope.
All right. Thanks a lot, Skinner, man. Heck of a story there. Wow. We got to worry about agriculture now. Okay. All right. Let's get over some sports and music. Big sports day yesterday, guys. LVI Super Bowl was yesterday, held in Los Angeles at the new SoFi Stadium, which is an amazing facility. I would love to visit that someday. Of course, for the second year in a row, one of the Super Bowl participants got to not only play in the Super Bowl, but win the Super Bowl in their home stadium.
Crazy.
That's never before done. Now we got 2 years in a row. Los Angeles Rams got to play their home stadium, which, they haven't been there very long. So it's not like it's, like this, they've been there just like long tradition or anything, but still, congratulations to them winning a Super Bowl. I didn't have the actual score right, but I did have the Rams winning by 3. I just felt like the more dominant players were on the Rams, and that's what won the game. Those 3 players, Stafford, Aaron Donald, and Cooper Kupp, who was just utterly amazing. And there would have been a fourth one. Like I think Odell Beckham Jr. might have been on his way to an MVP performance had he not got hurt.
He tore his ACL.
That's too bad. I didn't hear that. That's too bad because he was dominating early, and I think he was on his way to really, really having a heck of a game. Not a fan of the guy, but the look on his face when the game was agony. Over, it was that was. I love seeing that. The joy, the agony, all the things that you've been through, all come together and just wash away because of that one moment. The look on Aaron Donald's face was absolutely jubilant. This man was so happy. He's worked so hard. So I was ecstatic for him. I was also ecstatic for Matthew Stafford. 13 years in the league, never getting in trouble, never complaining, never being a jerk, being on a horrible team that did
like
nothing.
A prison sentence.
Yeah. And finally, can you just imagine what he might have done being put on a good team when he was in his prime, throwing for 400 yards? Certainly a champion. He already has more playoff wins than Aaron Rodgers in one season being put on a good team. I think that says a whole lot about him. I love to see his wife celebrating with him. She's been with him since high school, and they've been through a lot together. So, I got 2 rules when it comes to football or sports. If it's not the Pittsburgh Steelers, then just give me a good story. I just love a good story, and the Rams have a great story. If the Bengals would have won, it'd have been something fresh, something great. I would have been happy for them too. But certainly the Rams had a lot of players that have been struggling for a long time and got their just due yesterday. So with that being said, lots of things to talk about. So I'll just point some of them out because we don't have all the time in the world. The Rams won by 3, and of course the Super Bowl itself had a whole different feel on it, guys. It had this trendy LA feel. We saw The Rock out there. He was kind of doing his thing, his wrestling thing. He was kind of promoing, and Mickey Gaitan did an unbelievable job on the national anthem.
Yeah,
I am certainly a new fan of her. Certainly something.
Oh, she
unique.
nailed it.
Yeah,
Out of the
Black.
park. It was incredible.
I've been a fan of hers for the last few months. Just something that's unique and different. A Black woman singing country music, bringing highlight to that. And so my question is, was this because the Super Bowl was in LA, or is this where we are now? Because it certainly had the whole millennial feel of it. It was something new, it was something different. It was very trendy, very high tech. It felt like a big production more than an actual football game in the beginning. Now, the game was great. That things got settled down. But you guys, did you think this was because it was in LA, or is this just where we are? Fish?
I think a little bit of both, frankly. I mean, they definitely, when you're in your hometown like that, they certainly had more of an opportunity to showcase local talent and do something a little bit special with it. But, we're going to continue to see stuff like that, but certainly the whole feel of it, and certainly, obviously, the halftime show was 100% California and LA with the old school rappers out there performing. So I don't know. Like I said, a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Certainly, all the celebrities were out.
Sure.
LA's been on a roll lately. The Dodgers, the Lakers, and then of course now.
We lost your.
We lost your audio.
Oh,
yeah,
what are your thoughts on that, Skinner?
You're okay.
Well, it's funny that you said it was a millennial production, because then you had Gen X out there on the halftime.
Okay,
show.
well, we'll get to that.
So yeah. So it was a big, huge production, and I would expect nothing less from Hollywood or Los Angeles,
that's a statement, right?
It pretty much became. I was expecting a production. You think back to last year in Tampa Bay. It was a nice production, but it wasn't over the top like it was in LA, and that's just kind of what I was expecting coming into it. Not that I didn't like it. I thought it was very commercialized. Very.
It was
LA,
cool. I didn't have
Hollywood.
a problem with it. It was just you can certainly get that feel.
Yeah, what I caught too. I don't know if you guys caught at the beginning. This is earlier on. This is before the anthem, but I thought they had a nice display. They had the forgotten verse. Did you see that?
I think I missed that.
Yes.
So it was like, go check that out. I'm sure it's out there on YouTube or something like that. But it's first some of the first black players in the NFL, like Marion Motley and a lot of guys out there. Yeah, that was really cool. And they had their families out there and stuff. I thought that was a nice.
So it had a commercial feel, but they did some really nice things too. Hold on to the past. Okay. I thought overall it was a great production. Yeah. The game was great. They did a nice job. One good news we kind of got hinted that maybe that was Chris Collinsworth's last game or something. For some reason.
Well, Al Michaels is leaving. Al Michaels is leaving. Al Michaels is leaving NBC.
Oh,
so that was
I thought it was Chris Collinsworth that was leaving. Okay.
No, so that's Al Michaels is saying it's for the last time.
Okay.
This together. Al Michaels is not retiring, but it looks like he's going to probably go to Amazon. It was how strange.
Very strange.
So Amazon now has the rights to at least Thursday night football games this coming season. So they were bringing in. Oh heck yeah! They were trying to get Troy Aikman over there.
Well, I'm sure it'll grow, especially if you got Al Michaels. Okay, so obviously the big news every Super Bowl is the commercials. It's a little bit kind of in pop culture, but I just want to highlight a couple of commercials I thought was fantastic.
Sorry.
I love the Doritos commercial where they went in to push it. Just using the old song, that's certainly a Gen X song, something we grew up with, one of the most popular dance songs in history. I kind of dug that one. And really, the technology that we saw in the Book of Boba Fett when Grogu was training with Luke Skywalker, we were amazed, not just at the face, but as Skinner pointed out, the voice. And they use that same technology with LeBron
Sure.
James talking to his Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary's self, sitting on the bed. That was
that's
blown away by that, guys. What do you think of that technology, Skinner?
It reminded me of the chapter 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. When I saw that, I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute, that's LeBron. Wait a minute, what am I? And then it clicked, and I'm like, wow, this is really freaking cool that they took that technology from Disney and put it into a LeBron
We're
James.
going to be hearing a lot more about this and seeing it.
What advertisement it was. I don't even remember what the advertisement was. I just remember the LeBron talking to LeBron.
That's amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with this technology. We're going to see all kind of amazing stuff. People who've passed away, see their younger selves, things like that. So great.
Yeah, we're looking into Keith de-aging Skinner on the episode.
There you go.
Yeah, we want to get him back to at least the mid.
Why go through all that? Just get Junior on the show. Get rid of him.
Give me back to my sandy brown hair.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Some of the other cool things I noticed in the Super Bowl was, like I said, I am just a really big fan of Joe Burrow right now. I just think he is just something different, something cool. But I'm kind of digging this entire Bengals football team. I don't feel sorry for them losing.
Yeah.
They were a low seed. They really had some narrow escapes to get there. They're all extremely young, the majority of them, especially their key players. Chase is a rookie, Burrow's in his second year. But I really, really dig this football team. I think they are an example of the new millennial age football team. The kicker is just as cool as Joe Burrow, in my opinion. I have never seen a player sit out and watch the halftime show. And he just didn't watch it. He was straight chilling and illin', man. He had his arms up on the bench. This dude is so cool. What do you think about him, Skinner?
Mr. Joe Cool, yeah. You got to leave that for Joe Burrow. But no, McPherson is his name. And the kid is nails.
He's amazing.
From in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure we were going to get
that was my sad part, him not seeing him get a chance to at least tie it up.
But to watch that halftime show, and then they panned over and watched this lonely Cincinnati Bengal player without a helmet on, so we know exactly who it was, sitting there, like you said, chilling, watching the halftime show was...
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the right thing to do or
it's certainly not the right thing, but it was cool. It was very cool.
But it was way cool to see something like that. A young kid that probably didn't even know the music.
He had to see it. Which leads us to the halftime show, because that's how powerful the halftime show was, where McPherson's like, I got to see this. I mean, you're talking about Dr. Dre, Snoop. You could keep Kendrick Lamar. I don't like that guy whatsoever. Mary J. Blige, I admire, but not a big fan, but I certainly love her voice. And Eminem, one of my favorites. But I just thought they killed it yesterday, man. Some of the cool things that I saw, I don't know if people caught that was Dr. Dre's soundboard, like in the studio, that big white board. I thought that was just amazing. And then, of course, the circuits on the floor. That was the city of Los Angeles. I thought that was amazing. I know a lot of people thought that they were going to come out and act ignorant. They didn't. They were total class. I know there's a lot of flack going on today about Eminem kneeling or whatever. Let's move on.
And that's cancel culture trying to put something in there that isn't the case. It wasn't the national anthem. He wasn't disrespecting anybody.
Stop it.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But the only thing I didn't like about the halftime show was I didn't like the end when they were crip walking and the guys were dressed like they were in prison outfits. I just thought it kind of sent a bad message. The crip walking itself, was symbolizing gangs, but that's fine. That's the only thing I didn't dig. But I thought the halftime show was tremendous. Fish?
Yeah, we were entertained. I mean, it's just, it was cool to have that, our generation was certainly represented in that halftime show. It's like, we're we will argue. We sound old now saying like that's when rap was good.
But it's
It was
true.
classy. It was cool. Yeah,
They were hit
it was
song
cool.
after hit song, man.
Yeah. No one did anything outlandish. They came out there and just rapped. It was fun. It was cool. I liked it. I'm not a huge rap fan per se, but that type of stuff there,
That's cool.
I dig that stuff. So I like the whole city, like the whole the city block thing they did, like you say, the lights, the cars.
It was very cool.
It was a cool vibe, man. It was definitely
and of course there was a big surprise having 50 Cent show up doing in the club, another huge hit song. Nobody knew he was going to be there. And there's always usually a surprise every Super Bowl halftime show. So
yep.
Couple other things I saw. Probably the dumbest penalty I have ever seen in my freaking life in a football game. I don't care how happy you are. For that player on the Bengals to run into the end zone, you're not even in football pants. You're on flip-flops, for crying out loud. What made you think it was cool to run onto the field? You are trained from when you start playing Pee-wee football. Do not cross these lines. There's no excuse for that, dude. And now you're in the professional league. Yep. I really hope they embarrass this dude in social media because that was the stupidest thing I ever saw. And it just really sent a bad message of just doing what you want to do. No excuse for that. Thoughts on that, Skinner?
It reminded me of AB
a little bit.
Truthfully, that's something stupid that he would do. Yeah, I was watching that play and I'm like, who's this freaking moron in civilian? I thought somebody jumped the stands, and then I realized that he was a football player that wasn't dressed.
Yeah.
I mean, it after the shock wore
off, you look like a fan that jumped the stands, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, and then they threw the flag, and they said, he
could have easily got tackled by security too if nobody, knew who this guy was. So
it's one thing to be excited about being on the grand stage of Super Bowl, but you got to remember you are on the grand
professional.
Stage. And to do something that moronic,
it was very romantic. There's no excuses, in my opinion. Another thing I saw, it was great seeing the emotions, like I said, on some of the players. I was kind of disappointed in Matt Stafford. He seemed like he didn't have any emotion at all. Like, dude, you've been in the league 13 years playing for the Detroit freaking Lions. You've gone 0-16 before. Now you are a world champion. And he was just kind of like, giving all the old cliches, team effort, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I was like, he's acting like white people at a funeral. I mean, there's like no emotion at all. Yep, that's Junior. Yep, he's dead. You want to go get a beer? I'm like, really? And there's a difference between white people and black people at a funeral. Black people try to get in the casket with him, Lordy. White people like, yep, he's gone. He just standing there like no big deal, like I win this every year. But I thought that was funny. And just to see Coach McVay, Matt Stafford, and then Cooper Kupp all standing there holding the MVP, holding the Super Bowl trophy. And I'm like, wow, when's the last time you see that many white guys holding the sports trophy that wasn't the Stanley Cup? Yeah,
that's a good point.
It was a really great Super Bowl. I really enjoyed it. Really happy for the Rams. Overall thoughts, Fish?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted the Bengals to win. It's like the likelihood that they were going to win was, the odds were not against them. And like I said, it was that moment to where I wasn't upset the Rams won. Like I said, for all the reasons you talked about there, I'm glad to see Matt Stafford win all those years. He seemed like a class act in Detroit and never badmouthed the team, never did anything. And I'm sure he had and he got his opportunity. They traded a lot for him. Off. They gave away a lot of their future, and it paid off for them. Good for him. And to see the joy in his family, it's all. And I'm happy for Aaron Donald. And that guy he had that moment.
He erased the whole bad game, man. He showed up when you had to.
And those last couple plays, man. It's like that running back for Cincinnati. He was blocking and grabbed the guy with his one arm.
He didn't move 1 inch.
That was he's like, no.
That was the most amazing
like, no,
play to me.
We are not
I'm
losing
glad you
this
brought
game.
that up. That was more impressive than the sack because he was being blocked and he stopped that guy with one arm. He didn't let him advance 1 inch. That was utterly
it was amazing. And he got the sack at the end of the game, right? Wasn't it Donald at the end of the game? Got the final sack,
and of course Cooper.
That was it.
Cooper
that
Kupp,
was it. So
just amazing.
Class act.
He's a special guy. And, of course, the elephant in the room is we have not seen a white wide receiver dominate like that. He's not super fast, but his route running is excellent. His catching ability is excellent, and he's a very, very special player. So I was really happy for him too.
Yeah, me too. Only I guess the fifth wide receiver only to win the MVP in the Super Bowl. And he broke all kinds of records. I think I saw what Jerry Rice took his whole career to achieve the different accomplishments that Cooper Kupp did in one season.
And I think what's really amazing about it, everybody was talking about the Rams' defensive line would dominate. It was the Bengals' defensive line that dominated. The Rams couldn't run the ball at all.
They were good.
Cooper Kupp did all that. There was no running game for the Rams at all. That's surprising.
Yep.
No, they completely shut it.
Keep golf upright. They win that game.
Pretty amazing. Okay,
probably.
So that was the Super Bowl.
We'll see.
Not a whole lot happening in music today, guys. A couple quick birthdays. Gregory Hines, one of my favorite people. He passed away liver cancer in 2003, but today's his birthday, born 1946. He made tap dancing cool in our generation.
He sure did.
History of the World Part 1, he was hilarious in that movie. With Mel Brooks, love him in that movie. He showcased his dancing, but he was a funny comedic actor.
You see a tap dancer, showcase like a comedian like that. I thought that was kind of unique and very, very special. Yeah. So I really liked that guy. He was in some other movies, White Knights, and a few others that I really dug. So happy birthday to him.
He was in the show Friends.
Yeah, he was in it for a minute.
He was in there for I think one season. He was not an every day week character, but he was on there for almost a full season.
So we'll leave it at that, guys. That's what I got for sports and music. We'll let Fish take it away with some pop culture.
All right. Well, we'll temporarily bring down the vibe, as I usually do anyway. But on top of that, we had a passing yesterday, significant passing in the world of pop culture. Director Ivan Reitman. If you're in our generation, you certainly know a lot of films that he directed, including Animal House, Ghostbusters, Stripes, and many, many others. He had quite the list. Passed away at 75, unexpected. Certainly he had involvement in the Ghostbusters, the new one, The Afterlife, with his son, which was pretty cool to see him kind of passing the torch, if you will, in that franchise. But I had to pause and reflect on that. So a lot of his movies, so just those couple movies there alone, Stripes, Ghostbusters, Animal House. If you are in our Gen X generation, without a doubt, on cable, you saw those movies a ton. I watched Animal House, I don't even know how many times back then. Should I have been watching it as a kid?
Right.
Absolutely
I was watching it on Star Channel when my dad left the house. Yes.
Yeah. But just a hilarious movie. All those movies are super quotable in our generation. I would venture to guess almost weekly some quote for some of those. I should maybe not, but certainly frequently. Yes. I'll just say it that way. Very frequently, quotes from those movies are peppered into various situations throughout my entire life. Yes. Absolutely. So to this day, I have a Animal House poster.
How many times have we been at social gatherings and mind if I dance with y'all dates or something? Or that's the fact, Jack, or something
absolutely.
Like that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so certainly a great body of work. So Keith, what do you think of Ivan Reitman's
unbelievable body of work?
And
since you already brought up the quotables, I won't even go there. But he did some movies that are some of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite genre of movies are president movies. I love president movies. The American President with Michael Douglas, one of my favorites. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Dave. Oh God, I
Yeah.
love that movie.
Dave, okay.
That was one of his movies, and another movie that he did. I had no idea it was that good. I was blown away with Kevin Costner, and that was Draft Day, which featured the Cleveland Browns. I thought that
Mhm.
I loved that movie. So he did
Mhm.
some really, really great movies that weren't necessarily quotables as well. Remember Heavy Metal, the animated movie?
Yes.
Yeah, that was him.
Mhm.
And there was another one too that I can't think of what it was. There's a lot of horror movies too as well. Also, he's responsible for Space Jam and
Mhm. Helped me
yeah,
produce that
and
one. Yep.
I hate to admit it, but he did Baywatch too, which I thought was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life with The Rock. But that was terrible. But yeah, he had a great body of work.
Skinner, what do you think? Ivan Reitman.
Yeah, he's iconic. If you haven't seen one of those three big ones that you talked about, you lived in a bubble or under a rock, because our generation, we saw all three of those films on multiple times. I think out of the three, Stripes is number one, number two is Ghostbusters, and number three is Animal House. But you can
Wrong.
go 1, 2, 3 on any of those and not be
Yeah.
wrong.
You are wrong.
To be truthful. So
But,
That's
hey,
okay.
how about this though,
yeah,
Skinner?
but
What a recruitment tool Stripes was, right? If you're talking, being in the
absolutely.
military was so cool and so fun, man. What a great recruitment tool.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it
Yeah,
had
I mean,
spiked
interesting
up.
to find
I
out.
wonder if it spiked up guys enlisting. Yeah. Anyway,
So
go ahead, Skinner.
but yeah, you could rank those three 1, 2, 3 in three different ways and still be right. So
Except when
yeah,
you put Stripes first.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's okay.
Being a military guy, I put partial to the
Okay.
military
All
style
right.
movie. But
Okay.
no, like I said,
okay.
I could put Animal House number one and not be wrong. So, but anyways, yeah, great director, and he was so versatile. If you think back at all those movies that Porter just mentioned,
Yeah.
it's not one genre of movies. He did Space Jam. He did he did horror movies. He did all these comedies with Bill Murray and John Belushi, and just amazing body of work that man did.
I tell you what, if you guys
I
have,
just
go
want to
ahead,
say,
King,
and
go
I'm
say
gonna be
something.
very
Go ahead.
honest with you. I didn't know his name till you brought him up. I didn't know that's who did all these movies.
Mhm.
So he was certainly low key to have done such great movies.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to get a little bit of glimpse of Ivan Reitman, there's a series on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. Okay, so a lot of great episodes on that.
Seen
I
some
highly
of them.
recommend it. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how some of these movies came together. But there's one on the original Ghostbusters. Ivan Reitman, Dan Aykroyd tell the story of how that movie got made. Ivan Reitman, and he was brought in first, and he brought in Harold Ramis and all that. But anyways, it's to see how his mind worked and the thought process and what they did to put that movie together. Very, very cool. Go check that out. The Ghostbusters episode on The Movies That Made Us on Netflix. You will get a firsthand experience firsthand exposure to Ivan Reitman. So yes, rest in peace. Definitely thank you for many great films and great moments in our lifetime.
Real quick curveball,
So,
Fish.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, did you guys see the advertisement for the new Jurassic Park? The old cast combined with the new. Love it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it looks terrific. It closes out the series. Maybe gets picked up, I'm sure, in time. But very, very cool. Like you say, to see the originals coming together with the new cast. I think this would be terrific. Summertime movie. Maybe definitely a great popcorn summer movie for sure. I think it's in June or something like that. So for sure. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit here. YouTube. So the technology continues to advance, and we're hanging in there in our generation. But some of this stuff is starting to get a little bit beyond my grasp personally, and what I care to look into a little bit and so forth. I'm not sure. So we saw it all over the Super. You talk about commercials, Keith, on the Super Bowl. Many commercials about cryptocurrency and however the hell that works and so forth. Not exactly sure. Not sure I want to look into it. Some people say it's a great investment. But anyway, along with that, we've talked about on this show a few times the NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which is basically the ability to own digital film, so videos or pictures, and it's like a chain block thing that ties your name to that. So you could have it out there on the internet, but you own the rights to that piece of video or whatever it is. How do you make money from this? I have no idea. So I'm not sure, but you own it. It's a way to monetize somehow. I don't know. It's like an art collector type thing. Anyway, so YouTube is getting into this. I just announced. So you're going to have the ability to create NFTs so fans can own videos. So it is very possible someday our fans over in Germany, as soon as we become bigger than David Hasselhoff, could perhaps own their very own episode of It Came From GenX podcast on video for their very own, for maybe $19.95 or something like that. We'll figure out the price. We're still kind of figuring out. But wait, there's more. That's right. It may or may not come with a box of rice aroni, the San Francisco treat, and or turtle wax with a hard shell shine out there. Not exactly sure yet. Maybe the home version of It Came From GenX may come with an NFT purchase. Yeah. So they're getting into this. So you'll be able to monetize. You can own videos. You can own the short little clips they have out there now. So how all this works, again, it's a lot to look into. So an NFT of a 2007 video on YouTube, Charlie Bit My Finger, okay, sold for $760,000.
Say what?
It's insane. It's crazy.
So
it's again all this
here,
stuff.
Man. I am missing something.
Yeah, it's so crazy that somebody says I need to own that. And again, how do you make? I still don't quite get that to where, because again, it's out there publicly. If you want to watch a video or see it, I don't know. But YouTube is getting into this stuff. So is this the wave or a wave of potential ways to make more money with NFTs and or the
cryptocurrency? There's no question.
Bitcoin? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Or is this like a flash in the pan? This is like a way for people to take money from millennials and other people, and it's not going to amount to anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any thoughts, Keith?
No, this isn't a flash in the pan. This is where it's going. This is a prelude to a cashless society. You said that before. Yeah, serious, as predicted in the Bible. This is all setting that up where the tangible is being taken away. And two things that does when you take the tangible away: it drops crime like 90%. That's one thing. Okay. And two, it puts somebody in control. See, I can't do anything about the money under your mattress. I come in your house, you can shoot me. But if I say, you know what, I press a button, I turn your money off. Now I control you. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think it's a flash in the pan. I think that's just where things are going.
And you think there's higher risk as far as terrorism and
you got cyber terrorism, and of course it'll be increased in that. But as far as just robbing somebody, it's hard to rob somebody when they don't have anything on them to take. You know, you can't steal a painting if it's an NFT, or a story if it's an NFT. You know,
I do the log in right now.
Yeah, right.
You log in. It came from GenX right now. Yeah. So I didn't think about that. Right. So.
Yeah. All right, Skinner, what do you think about NFTs and Bitcoin?
It is all beyond my comprehension at the moment, truthfully. call it my age. Call
No,
it
we should
what
all
you
study
want.
this
I
NFT
don't
stuff
know.
because I don't get it either, Skinner.
I
Sure.
don't understand it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it's going. You know, you've talked about it a few times over the past year on the show, and I'm still mind blown to the concept. I'm not mind blown to the cashless society that Keith had predicted, or had said previously and had just said moments ago. I've seen that coming when we had a shortage of
Right.
change. You know, you couldn't break $1 for 4 quarters because
Right.
the banks
Right.
didn't have change.
And try
How
going to
that's
Walmart
humanly
after 10 o'clock
possible is,
without a card.
yeah, right.
No, they'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I'm
But to be
I'm
fair, though,
clueless. I
Skinner
wish
was
I
also
wasn't.
baffled by scented toilet paper. He hasn't figured that out. So
Yep. Mhm.
That's true. That's true.
Also,
yes,
also soap.
There's a soap thing too.
You know. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. He hasn't figured that out.
I'm
you know,
allergic
but-
to those.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something. I don't know. I mean, it's some people think there's pro athletes taking their salaries and Bitcoin
right. Yes,
partially
I'm
and stuff.
seeing
It's
that.
just really interesting. Yeah.
But as far as the NFT,
Mhm.
Well, here's the
Go ahead.
amazing thing, and I'll
I-
go. No, I say here's the amazing thing. Watching my father over the last 10 years and the things that have gone way over his head, you know, just common stuff that you and we're just like, what do you mean you don't understand this? Now
Right.
we're getting
Excellent.
to the point where this stuff is
Excellent point.
over our heads, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't understand this. Now
That's a
I'm
great
gonna have to
analogy,
have my
yeah.
son explain to me what
Right.
I've been explaining to my dad over the
Right.
last 10 years. And it's
Sure.
hard to fathom that
Because
is
like
the point
steel,
that we're at.
my son, he's going into trading and stuff. He understands all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't get it. But what I was going to say is, it's not even the NFTs that confuses me or baffles me as much, but just the amount of money. That's the part that's blowing me away. I mean, 700 something thousand. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's amazing. Crazy. Yeah, you can make an NFT on your Twitter profile, I think, right now. I think your Twitter profile, I think it's Twitter. You can pull up and just make
I
your,
haven't
make your
figured Twitter
profile
out
NFT
yet, so.
that you own.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I haven't figured Twitter
Yeah.
out yet. I've had an account for 5 years. I don't know how to use it.
A lot of information comes across on that bad
That's
boy.
probably why I don't care about using it.
All right, so we're transition into, so we talked about YouTube a little bit here. And this week in pop culture history, a couple of things stood out to me. So we're shooting today on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Our significant others, they wanted to spend time with us and romance, and we said no.
That's right.
Absolutely not. The show.
That's what I
must
told them.
go
All of
on.
them.
Yep. So I personally blew out a candle at a candlelight dinner and said, "Nope, Allie, sorry, can't do it today. Keep the filet mignon. Just keep it. We got to shoot an episode here." So, but this day in 2005. And we talked about the other days. Facebook launched. We talked about this last week. Facebook launched in the early 2002 or 3. Last week in pop culture history. In 2005, today, YouTube is launched. So it was founded by Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim, or Karim. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. There were 3 former, and I didn't know this, but 3 former employees of PayPal. The very first YouTube video wasn't uploaded, however, so they launched it, but they did not upload a video until April 23rd. It was an 18-second video, me at the zoo. It featured Kareem at the San Diego Zoo, and it still can be viewed on the website. To this day, the video has received over 13,500,000 views. And by July of 2006, YouTube was receiving over 65,000 videos per day and over 100 million videos, were being viewed each day in April 2011. So YouTube stated that about 30% of all the videos posted made up about 99% views on the site. So The technology and the app is certainly amazing. We're talking about this prior to the shooting here. Guys like us, there's no way on earth we would be able to film ourselves doing a podcast or anything of the kind and put it out there on a regular television channel. So, it's a certainly given a lot of garbage the opportunity to put stuff out there, and a lot of folks out there just looking for a way to be creative and put themselves out there for the world on unlimited video. There's not a whole lot of, you just got to follow basic rules, but you can create a channel for free, put yourself out there. And if you happen to find your way to creating enough viewers, there's been a lot of people, certainly, that's found a way to make themselves a lot of money with ads and whatnot. And it's by putting good content out there that people just pick up on, like a television show. So do you think it's actually created another way to give folks like us a medium to put some creativity and some fun out there, or is it bad for society? What do you guys think? Keith, what do you think about YouTube in general?
Absolutely. It's another avenue, another medium, if you will. If Junior were on the show, I'm sure he would have some interesting thoughts on this, because I would again say depends on how you use it. And of course, his argument would be the overall effects of some of these mediums are bad, which I don't disagree with him. However, a gun can be bad. People argue about guns on society, whether somebody could say, hey, guns don't kill people, people kill people. So that's basically the argument we were having. But yeah, it's another avenue, another medium. Anything that's that powerful will be distorted for bad use. You can't stop that. That's the world we live in. You're going to get, criminal activity. You're going to get ex-wives, saying stuff to you or whatever. But yeah,
perhaps multiple.
Right. But yeah, it's certainly another avenue that can be used for our advantage.
Skinner, what do you think about YouTube?
I would like to think that it's been used and created for the positives. Working on cars, I had to change the side panel on my
That's a great
car.
Point.
Maybe 3-4 years ago, I had most cars nowadays it's automatic locks and electronic everything, and my panel blew up on my door. So I watched the video on YouTube. Here's how you take this thing out. Here's how you put the new one in. Here's how you put the door back together, and boom. Perfect. I didn't have to take it to, I didn't have to go to a mechanic. I didn't have to say, hey, mechanic friend down the street, can you help me do this? I just went on YouTube and boom, done. And I've used YouTube for that reason for a lot of things. Also watch a lot of music videos. We don't have MTV anymore to watch videos, so I watch videos on YouTube.
And we don't need it.
Without YouTube, anymore. I wouldn't have that means. Yeah, exactly. So I think, I'd love to think that it's for the positive, but you're right. Just like anything else, there's a lot of negative that can be done with that as well.
I
Go ahead.
I give a very broad statement, just talking about it as a medium. But to get more personal, to kind of stack on top of what Skinner was saying, but my mom always said to me when she wanted to learn something, she always said, you know what? Show me something one time and I'll get it. And she is like that. And there's so many people in the world that are like that. YouTube galvanized all those people, because now you don't have to read how to do it.
Yes.
You don't have to be told how to do it. We're going to show you how to do it. My son learned piano from YouTube. I can't tell you the things that I've learned. I have to remind myself sometimes. Sometimes I'll get a new gadget from Amazon or something and get confused. And I'll go, wait a minute. Forget these instructions. Just punch it in YouTube. And here's somebody showing, hey, this is how you do it. Like, wow, somebody like me, somebody I can understand. So the power of YouTube is amazing. Of course, it sucked when they sold out to the commercials. We have to deal with that, but such is life. But I think YouTube is so powerful, such a huge learning tool, such a way to bypass all the bull, the red tape, the smoke, and say, hey, this is what needs to be done. I'm sure there's a drawback on that somewhere. I don't know what, but I'm sure there is. but it has been the most helpful thing in the world to me. I've learned everything from YouTube.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Actually, I didn't think about that. So yeah, you're right. I mean, there even little things like you said, Skinner. I didn't know how to change a headlamp in a car. I didn't know how to take apart something and clean it or do something unique to it and put it back together, some piece of electronic equipment. But you're right. Almost anything you could think of. Almost anything you could think of that you want to learn how to do. Somebody has stuff out there. I learned how to change electrical lights, in my home, to take a whole piece out and do all kinds of stuff. I never would have remotely considered any of that. You would have had to, in the old days, you had to buy Time Life books and watch Bob Vila and all these shows and stuff like that on demand, or go buy books and stuff like that. And now it's like you say, 30 seconds, you pull right up, bam. Somebody out there has a channel or a video. It really has become a very helpful thing in that regard.
I can pull up songs without the drums in it and play along to them. Sure. Any song I want. My mom cracks me up in church. Sometimes we'll play music over the PA, and my mom is always asking every Sunday, do you have that one song? And we have to tell her every Sunday, Mom, we have any song. What do you want? Just name it. We have every song in the world. Just name it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think like some of the social media where people, it's like, to me, it's probably, not even probably, to me, it's of the social media accounts, it's the most useful in many respects, as far as if information seeking. I'm sure you can find a lot of crap out there too, of course. You want to look up conspiracy theories and all very harmful stuff. I'm sure it's out there as well, but you have to choose to find it. What's that?
There's a bunch of kids behind South Street school here fighting, or Kenmore parking lot fighting. You can look up anything.
Yeah, it's nuts. Well, of course, one of the most useful things you can find on YouTube to look up for wholesome family entertainment and just a lot of laughs may include the It Came From GenX channel. Go check us out there on YouTube. That's right. So on that note, we have come to an end. And before we come to a final end, I want to say, before I forget completely, before we come to a final end, you might be coming to, I have no creative segue into this whatsoever. So I'm just going to say our sponsor, RPM Bike Shop on Facebook. Go check them out. Quality electric bikes at competitive prices. Family-owned business in Carrollton, Ohio. Before I forget completely, go check them out on their Facebook page, RPM Bike Shop. Terrific bikes, rechargeable. Get yourself out there. Ride the bike normally. Use the electric boost where you need to. Get your out-of-shape ass in shape in 2022. Have some fun.
I don't think
go
that's
check them out.
Slogan, but
yeah.
Okay.
Probably not. I'm pitching that though. Get your out-of-shape ass in shape in 2022. Get yourself an electric bike. I'll give it to them for free. They can have it.
It's going to cost you.
Anyways, it probably will. So that slogan is not endorsed by RPM Bike Shop. It's just a suggestion. All right. Anyway, so on that note, check us out on YouTube. Check us out every week on our podcast platforms. Thank you for your support out there. We hope you enjoy our hijinks and ridiculousness and Gen X rants and memories and topics and all that fun stuff. So on that note, Skinner is going to deliver another flawless outro for your
if any of
listening
our fans out there
ears. Yes.
Knows on a video on how to do a segue. Send that to Brian Fisher.
Yes, that's right. And I will pass it on to Mike Skinner.
On that note, for Brian Fisher, Keith Porter, I'm Michael Skinner. We are guys from Gen X. We will see you next
Valentine's Day, Marcy. Happy
Valentine's
Day, Allie. Happy Valentine's Day, Serenity. Love you guys.